All right, we back, fam. It's good, Royal Family. Right now, I'm eating my lunch. You know, I start getting ready. I got some lo mein noodles with some sesame seed chicken from Wegmans from the other day. My wife ain't want it when I bought it, so me not have it. But now she want it. It's okay. For it stank and it looked like dog food. Now it's okay. You see that? Look at that. Y'all banging. I like lo mein. I like lo mein better than rice. Mm. But rice is healthier. I think I gave her all the that's cabbage. I gave her all the no, that's a scallop. I gave her all the chicken that was in it. A lot of it. Well, we on part two of this. Let's get into it. Pull up on the big screen. Part two of the video. Let's go.
Now, you said that the foster home didn't work. Explain how it didn't work.
Well, it was a lot to do with what I would like to call racism. The people that were raising us in the foster care, it was more so a check. So it was me and my little brother. They were more concerned with getting paid versus taking care of us. And then when the social worker would come, I couldn't hold back. I've always been the same person. I'll just tell the truth. When they would ask me, I would already be coached by the foster parent. Say this, say this, say this. Don't say the truth. And then when they would come, the social workers, I just let it all out. We're getting treated so wrong. I haven't ate today, whatever it was. I would just let them know. The roof is raining in my food. Like I remember everything in detail. It was so horrible that the social workers took us out of the situation. They contacted my real family, and that's how my grandmother adopted us.
Okay. So there were days they would start.
You know what? They should have been did that. I don't know why they don't all the time, but when kids need to be placed in a family, they should call the family because the family will actually take care of them. Especially with black families. Black families will raise everybody kids, our cousins' kids, our best friend kids, sister, brother, our grandma kids. Only a few people relate to that one. When your uncle be 20 years younger than you. Nah, but you take care of everybody kids, man. That's how it is in a black family. We like real knitted, you know what I'm saying? So if one person fucking up, we'll end up taking the slack. At the end of the interview looking hurt. Like he don't know what to think.
Starve you.
Starve ain't the word. I remember the only entree we had. The entree was the ABC spaghetti, oodles and noodle, whatever you call it, right out the what do you call it, Chef Boyardee can. We ate that so much, I was literally eating metal out the cans because we was eating it out the can. So that was so horrible. That's why I treat my kids and my girls' kids the way I treat them because I already been through it, where people are only concerned about a check and not about the well-being of the child. So seeing all that, it was like, okay, not only am I going to make myself professional, but I'm going to be the best dad, best stepdad I could possibly be. So that's where all that came from. The way I was raised, the way I was brought up, it all tied into who I became.
You recently just said that your mom was on drugs, heavy on drugs.
Like that with
Heavy.
kids.
She missed my whole life. And literally, I'm not making this up. My mom, okay, let me say, my mom, she was in Las Vegas when we were in Gary, getting taken care of by my grandmother, which is her mother. And she was doing her thing, scamming, whatever she could do, counterfeit money, stealing from the store. She was lit. And then she got caught, and then she went to prison. We never seen her before the prison, but we definitely didn't see her after. So now that I became this person, my mom came back into my life. I'm seeing these so-called leeches. You know, I don't want to talk bad on my mom. She still was my biological mother, but I will tell it to her face.
You can't really say that too much. I'm not gonna say like, but if you just now getting out, that'd be something different. You know what I'm saying? You can't really like get upset about like if she just now getting out. But if she not just now getting out, then that's a whole different story too. You know what I'm saying?
I feel some type of way now. You weren't there. I had to grow up this way because you weren't there. Imagine being raised by your grandmother and your great grandmother, and you're living in the 90s, and they're from the 40s, the 20s. My great grandmother was born in 1929. So I was being raised under a whole nother genre. I would go to school in elementary. I'm singing the Temptations. Everybody's singing Biggie and Tupac. I didn't even know who the freak Tupac was. Tupac, Biggie. I got sunshine on a cloudy day. I was at school on my knees singing to every girl. So I was raised this way, and it's like I was the kid with the tight pants on, with the ashy elbows.
Yeah.
I didn't have a drip because what was drip? My grandmother didn't care about the 90s swag. I didn't know about FUBU until high school. Rockaware, all those things that everybody else, Jordans. What? I had my LA Gears on or whatever Payless was selling. So I literally went through it. I mean, but I'm not ashamed to talk about it. Obviously, I'm going to be open with you guys because a lot of people that see me now, they don't.
First of all, no, let me stop. LA Gears was the shit. LA Gears was the shit. And if you were born in the 90s, I mean, if you being raised in the 90s, you born like, probably like 89 or something like that. That means the 90s for us was elementary. Yeah, elementary. Because 94, I was in first grade. And you younger than me. Elementary. Late 2000s, you start, like middle school probably. Or up around there or something. I don't know. But fronting. Nah, let me stop. He making himself sound older than what he was. Cause Tupac and Biggie died in the 90s. Nah, but yeah, I understand what you're saying. I understand. You know what I'm saying? Alright. Let's roll.
Don't see any of my past. So they call me.
But LA Gears was the shit back in elementary. What the fuck you talking about? What the fuck you mean? You couldn't even get LA Gears from Payless at that time. You think of it now, cause like later on you can get it from Payless. But back then you couldn't get no LA Gears from no Payless, boy, and they costed a grip. Niggas was getting arrested behind them shoes. Then when there's something and be running and get caught because you see your sneaker light up. We remember those days. I want you to smash the like button if you remember the days. Oh, don't forget to like, subscribe, turn on post notifications for me. Bang!
Right. Flexer, and I do too much and I stunt too much and I'm flexing on my fans, but they don't understand the upcoming. When someone comes from absolutely nothing, the bottom, and they get anything, they're going to be ecstatic about that. And that's me. I'm excited about my fame, my success. I made over $10 million just making myself a YouTuber. No one came up to me and said, you should be a YouTuber. Here's a check. I just started making videos, posting videos, and then went up from there. Actually, my little brother Jinx, he put me onto that. I don't mean to jump too far ahead in my life because obviously there's a lot of steps, but before I became a YouTuber, my little brother, his name is Jinx, he already had a YouTube. He moved in my house and I would hear him in the room. He would be so excited, screaming, yelling, laughing, but I didn't care because I was a dealer. I dealt craps and blackjack. So when I came from Gary, well, while in Gary as an adult, after the military was over, I got the trade of card dealing. So I dealt blackjack, excellent dealer, and then I learned craps, excellent dealer. And then all of the employees was telling me, you and your energy, you belong in Las Vegas. You belong in the mecca of gambling because you are not regular. So my whole life, everyone told me you're not regular. And the only reason why I wasn't regular is because of the way I was brought up. I didn't want to go back to that. So I knew that being regular would probably keep me in that poverty situation. So I had to be outlandish with everything. So that's how I am. I'm still like that today. So I moved from
Right.
Gary with that experience of being a dealer, went to Las Vegas, landed a job at Caesars Flamingo so fast that my family couldn't believe it. Now I went from making $12 an hour to $40 an hour. Now I'm really feeling myself. So now that's when my Instagram came and I'm on there flexing. I didn't have a YouTube yet. So the way people see me now, I've always been like this. As soon as I got a taste of that money, I had to be like that.
Right. So at what age did you realize
Pictures.
that your mom
It wasn't
she
as
wasn't
flashy
it wasn't
and
normal?
fancy as it is now, but
I think I didn't
I see
care
that.
until she
He had a
came
little
back into my
Charger.
life. Because where
I
I'm
think it was like a
from,
black
this
Charger.
story I'm telling is the norm. I'm not the only one whose mom was on drugs.
like that.
I'm not the only one whose father died in prison. It was so normalized that I didn't even really think about it until she came back. When she came back, it was 2015. I'm killing it on YouTube, and she popped up. She came to my house in Las Vegas, and I opened arms. I extended my invitation. Come on in. I gave her the lifestyle that I was experiencing, and that's when I realized. I said, okay, I feel used because you weren't there for me. And her excuse was, I had a problem. I had an issue. She was honest, but that's not a good enough excuse because I'm not going to be there telling my kids 20 years later, oh, I had an issue. I had a problem. I'm going to be telling them why I'm so successful because it was them. I look at my kids and say, I have to do better because I'm not going to be like my mom. So really, I owe everything to my mom. I would say my dad, but he's already freaking dead.
Okay. So when you were young, in Gary, Indiana, did you ever see her out, on the corners or things like that?
She came back. She didn't come back frequently. But I never seen her do her thing. But you don't have to see it. Because being that kid that I was, I'm always in the neighborhood walking around. People would tell me. Grown-ups would come up to me like, man, your mama, man. And I would just be like, wow, you gonna tell me this about my mom? And it began to get on my brain and on my heart. And then, like I said, I just pushed it away. That's my mom's decision. She's a grown woman. I'm already grown. I live with my grandmother, my great grandmother. They've already raised me. They gave me the foundation that she was supposed to give me. And now at that point, I'm just glad she didn't take care of me because I would have been another crack baby. I know how crack babies get passed around. I'm just glad that she actually.
Your testimony, though, even though a lot of people ain't gonna like what you saying, they're gonna feel like you should have kept it to yourself and that you might be embellishing some things and lying about this and that third. But your testimony, it might save somebody's life. I'm just saying. Like people like me hear you what you saying and realize what you saying. You don't realize what you said and be saying. sometimes, but we catch every little detail for some reason. But anyway, it's still it'll change somebody's life. You feel me? So I ain't even not.
Gave me up to foster care because it was my
That's
mom
real.
that did that. She started the foster care. She gave us up, and that's how my grandmother came into the picture.
But that's the end of that interview, people. That's the end of that one. And that's the end of that part. So basically, he was just talking about how he got into the foster care system and stuff like that, and how life was hard in foster care and stuff. I feel you. I feel you. I think this was something where this interview was something that been on his mind, and he wanted to get it off his chest. And also, he probably wanted to just say a whole bunch of stuff before people started digging and stuff like that. Whatever. So, like digging in his background and all that stuff, and try to use it against him and stuff. I guess I don't know, but that's his testimony. Praise God, he made it. He made it. All right, guys. I'll be back with part 3 soon. I gotta take this in.